Capitol Hill. House impeachment managers presenting previously unseen security video from the January 6th attack. It shows just how close the mob got to senators and Vice President Mike Pence. Trump's legal defense team, which claims the trial is unconstitutional, will get the chance to make their arguments later this week. To convict Trump on the single charge of inciting an insurrection, 17 Republicans will have to join all Democrats. Meantime, in other news, Hustler magazine founder and First Amendment rights advocate Larry Flynt has died. Flynt's nephew says he died earlier today of heart failure at his Hollywood Hills home. Larry Flynt was 78 years old. The news breaks out, we'll break in. I'm Trace Gallagher, now back to Tucker Carlson tonight.
You thought the coronavirus vaccine would change your life. You thought, for example, you could finally see your elderly relatives, but the goalposts have moved again. In Northwestern Medical School,
it's not really recurring payments. Yeah, it gets you out gassed out,
told NPR this week that your parents should stay isolated until we achieve herd immunity. According to you still pose a clear and present danger to your parents, despite the vaccine. Dr. Mark Siegel is a Fox News medical contributor. Of course, we're happy to have him join us tonight to assess this. Doctor, good to see you.
Tucker, good to see you. When you move the goalposts, hope is replaced by despair, and public health needs to be consistent. And a lot of emphasis will put on these vaccines, which is why I'm really glad to see Dr. Mitch Katz, of all people, who's the CEO of Health and Hospitals Corporation, right here in Fairleigh, New York City, the right arm of Mayor Bill de Blasio, say on Monday in a press conference, hey, this vaccine, I'm extremely excited about it. It works, and it's the way back. He said it's the way back. He also said, my 98-year-old father, he said, and my 93-year-old mother are now going to take visitors from their children. I was so happy to see that, Tucker, especially when you consider what is public health anyway. It's an overall cost, isn't it? And there was a big study out of Boston in September that says that 25% of Americans are suffering from clinical depression. That means that 75 or 100% of Americans, that's you and me and everyone, have some kind of anxiety or depression, and it's permeating us not to have hope. And this vaccine meant hope. And I have to admit something to you tonight, Tucker, that I'm embarrassed to admit. Which is last spring, as you know, my parents had COVID-19, but when they came back to New York, I was permeated with a fear too. I met them on the porch. I was afraid to come too close, even though I knew they were immune. I knew they were immune, and I knew I could come close, wear my mask, come close, but I was afraid for more than a 10-minute visit. But I'm happy to report tonight, Tucker. My father's had the vaccine, my mother's had the vaccine, I've had the vaccine. Tucker, hey, Dad, I'm hopping on a plane and I'm coming to see you. I'll wear my mask, but I'm coming to see you. Tucker?
Have a great reunion. Dr. Siegel, good to see you tonight. Thank you.
Thanks, Tucker.
Well, according to some of our public health experts, everything that happens, good or bad, is more proof that we need more lockdowns. If coronavirus cases go up, we need more lockdowns. If they go down, you know what that means? More lockdowns. Because that's science.
Oh, no. That's very...
We've seen this before. Metrics improve. States roll back restrictions. A few weeks later, cases spike. What goes through your mind when you see states roll back restrictions right now? Are we in the clear?
It's like shit. If I was Saturday in the Kia Rio, up in the A, it'd be me and Bird up and down 35. Oh, 31. I mean, actually one. Up and down one. And that would be that.
Science calls for. The White House has a new plan.
Would it be so much that my heels are calloused? Would it be so much that like I require a major down, like just be like ease into the receipt?
Sometimes you have to make it up as you go along out of nothing. For example, just a year into the pandemic, the CDC declared that everyone really should be
with
wearing
a car,
2 masks.
you can better search for a better place to live. With a car where you're not in a motorcycle talking about mouth shot off, talking about I don't know what's going to mean with a rental office.
He joins us tonight from an undisclosed location. Alex, it's great to see you tonight. So you've been calling for schools to reopen on the basis of the actual signs for quite some time. What do you make of where we are now?
What up?
It is absurd. And
What makes no sense?
It's been obvious actually since last May, really, arguably late April, that schools should be open.
How is it that you get shot?
In places like Australia, they were talking about
more times,
the Biden plan is ridiculous. It actually is
100 yards out, 50 yards out, 25 yards out.
The reason Joe Biden
into like 4 city blocks.
For an immediate reopening of schools is
hauling a saddlebag and a dog.
Donald Trump tried that and he failed.
Basically,
Donald Trump was not beholden to
everything,
so it didn't cost him anything except embarrassment, I guess, or it just showed that
you're not going to open
could
schools.
do it.
So in poverty classes in general, that's my whole premise. It's like, it could have been a key appeal.
Instead, he's going to have these ridiculous metrics that can't be met.
Just by in terms of showing you, I went to the pro audio place.
Every day goes by. It's another day when tens of millions of kids don't get socialized.
I went to the Rim place. I went to the Rim shop.
Don't get potentially out of the abusive home.
I gotta ask you something. I just because I can't control myself, and it's about you specifically. So you've been on the show for almost a year. Never asked where your politics are. You used to work at the New York Times. You're a novelist. I assume you're a Democrat. Don't answer. But I don't think you're any kind of right winger. Okay, don't think you ever have been. You've been talking about science for almost a year on this show, and because of that, people have really started to be mad at you. You're also a novelist. Tell me, what effect has speaking out about what the data tell you had on your life? I can't resist asking you.
So Tucker, the data, listen, I wrote a book that came out yesterday. That book's called The Power Couple. It's a novel. It's got nothing to do with COVID. I wrote it before COVID. I wrote it in 2018 and 2019. I cannot get anybody to cover that book.
Malcolm Gladwell? Is this Malcolm Gladwell? No, this is Alex Burnham.
All the previous novels that I wrote for the last 15 years won't cover it. And I can only surmise that that's because they don't like what I'm saying about COVID, that I'm not on the train, that I point out the problems of masks, that I've recently been talking about the question of whether vaccines are as efficacious as the clinical trial data.
You're a gentleman and a scholar.
That is science-based, they don't like, and so they can't hit at me because I don't work for them anymore, but they can prevent me from getting any publicity for the Power Couple, and now, and I haven't, and it hurts me a little bit, but you know what? I'm a big boy, those are the rules of the game, we'll move on, I'll keep telling the truth.
I hope maybe sometime you will take your ample energies and think through and write a book maybe on what this is about. How did science get so political? Why does quoting studies make you persona non grata in certain parts of the country? I just think it'd be interesting to hear about that. Good luck.
Yes, my next book will be nonfiction, I can tell you that.
In lower division, I know, I have to look at my source.
Thanks, Tucker.
Well, women's rights, their most basic rights, like to be acknowledged as females, are under attack in this country. But what we're seeing is not unprecedented. It has happened before. It's happening